So if you were really famous, I know some of you out there are saying, well, but I am really famous. So for those of you who aren't really famous, but you aspire to be, whatever. So if you were really famous and successful, would you still be humble? So today I'm going to share with you the gospel according to Denzel Washington, and a little bit according to Mike Greenberg. And if you don't know who they are, hopefully throughout the course of these couple minutes here, you'll understand who they are. Denzel Washington is a very famous actor, and I've liked him in a lot of different roles. And I found myself speaking after listening to him on YouTube, and I realized that I was mimicking him. I wish my voice sounded like his. I just think he's got a great voice. I think the movie Glory was the first movie that I really remember him doing. But wonderful actor. But here's the gospel according to Denzel Washington. Definitely a Christ follower. I didn't know that. But I was on YouTube and it pulled up something else. Has anybody ever gotten to the end of YouTube? No, I don't think you can. You can spend a lot of time there. So can I. So here's what he says. He's addressing some students at a graduation. He says, put God first in everything you do. Put God first in everything you do. And then he said, if you want to be like me, do what I've done. And then he goes on to share some of those things. The first thing is, put God first in everything you do. And he says, everything I have. And he goes, and I got a fair amount. God's blessed me in a lot of ways. He says, but everything I have is by the grace of God. Everything. And then he's talking to these graduates, and he says it was March 27th, 1975. He just flunked out of college. He said, I had a 1.7 GPA. I don't care who you are or where you come from or what school it is. That's not good. He said, I hope there's no students here that can relate to my 1.7. But he said he was flunking out of school. He said his mom had a beauty parlor, and he was there, and there was this lady that just kept looking at him. And she's not looking at him because he's Denzel Washington, because he's not Denzel Washington yet. He's just his mom's son there at the flunking out of school at the beauty parlor. And she comes over to him, and she basically says, I got a prophecy for you. You're going to travel the world, and you're going to speak to millions of people. And that came to be true. Absolutely true. But also he says, I've been protected, directed, and corrected. He talks about how God has just had his hand on his life. There's all sorts of different little videos where he's talking about the Lord and stuff, and I think they're really some really good stuff. He said, I kept God in my life, and God kept me humble. I'm going to talk about being humble just for a moment. Now I'm going to talk about Mike Greenberg. He's Greeny, he's on the radio, he's on ESPN, he's into sports. And he was saying, I got this new show starting up this fall with these other basketball, celebrities and stuff. And he says, I just want you to know how fortunate I am. He says, because I know that many people with the degree that I have could do what I do and have all this radio stuff and TV stuff and probably even do it better. How refreshing that is when you just hear true humility from people. And that's what Denzel Washington would say, and that's what Greeny would say. But I think there's a few rock stars out there that would be like, no one could do it like I did it. Nobody was as good as me. And you know what? We pick that up from people, and pride goes before a fall. But anyway, God, he says, kept him humble. Hanging on to God kept him humble. And just a few more thoughts. The gospel according to Denzel Washington. He said, I didn't always stick with God, but he always stuck with me. So he says, stick with him in everything you do. Put God first. Not an afterthought. Put God first. Give your talents. Give whatever you have to God. And the final thought is this. He says, I hope tonight before you go to bed, your slippers, I hope you kick them way under your bed. I hope you kick your slippers way under your bed tonight. So tomorrow morning, when you get out of bed, you've got to get down on your knees to get those slippers out. And you know what he's saying. Tomorrow morning, get on your knees. Thank God that he's giving you a shot at life. Put God first in your life. Be thankful to him for the things that you've received. God bless you. The gospel according to Denzel Washington.